With the latest stern bomb that Dodge is the leading candidate to return to the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, I thought I would look back at 2004 when Toyota made the jump themselves and how long it took them to get to Cup from there. Toyota had a 6-truck lineup for 2004 and it was pretty stacked. I mean, they had the inaugural champion in Mike Skinner and defending champion in Travis Kvapil for Bang Racing, Bill Lester at Bill Davis Racing. Innovative Motorsports fielded 2 trucks, one for rookie Robert Huffman and Hank Parker Jr., and David Rittiman ran at Darrell Waltrip Motorsports. It didn't take long for things to get clicking, as only 8 laps into the season, Travis Kvapil led the first lap for Toyota. In the first race, they accomplished both their first top 5 and top 10, with Kvapil coming home second and rookie David Rittiman in 9th. Another first, Robert Huffman got the first last place finish for Toyota, finishing 36 out of 36 trucks. Things continued to click the next week at Atlanta, where David Rittiman won the first pole for Toyota, and they finished 2, 3, and 4 in the race, with Mike Skinner finishing second after losing the race on a late restart. Travis Kvapil took the points lead after this race, becoming the first Toyota truck to lead the points. Another first here that I wanted to include but wasn't super spectacular was Robert Huffman getting the first DNQ for Toyota at race 4. Not too much happened for the next few weeks, but at race 13 at Michigan, Travis Kvapil got the first win for Toyota in NASCAR's Top 3 Series, winning at Michigan. Johnny Benson also debuted for Bill Davis Racing and Toyota, replacing Shelby Howard. In September, we had another important debut as we saw Todd Bodine make his debut for Toyota at Richmond for Germain Racing. The next week at Loudon, Travis Kvapil won his second race of the season, but his teammate Mike Skinner ran his final race for Bang Racing. The next week at Las Vegas, Mike Skinner debuted for Bill Davis Racing, winning the pole and finishing 6th. Toyota had actually pulled its factory support from Bang Racing in August due to some financial issues, and Larry McReynolds left the team, so Mike Skinner jumped ship. How did October go? Well, Todd Bodine went back-to-back at Fontana and Texas, only a few weeks into his stint with Toyota and Germain, and he was already looking like the fastest of the bunch. So at season's end, how did things look in the point standings? Well, Travis Kvapil led the group in 8th position. He had 2 wins to go with 6 top 5s, 10 top 10s, and a pole. Mike Skinner didn't win, had 9 top 10s and 2 poles. David Rittiman finished 14th in points with 2 poles and won the Rookie of the Year on his 10 top 10s. Hank Parker Jr. was in 17th, Bill Lester in 22nd, rookie Robert Huffman in 23rd. Of course, he had the 1 DNQ, but the 2 at the bottom were the guys I wanted to talk about the most. Johnny Benson came in and ran 13 races, getting 8 top 10s, and of course Todd Bodine winning twice in his 8 starts. So be interesting to see if these guys can build off of this for 2005. 2005 saw Toyota expand their fleet of trucks from 6 to 8. They had Mike Skinner, Bill Lester, and Johnny Benson all full-time for Bill Davis Racing. Robert Huffman moved over to Darrell Waltrip Motorsports, joining David Rittiman. Chad Chaffin was driving the number 30 truck for Germain, whereas Todd Bodine went to Fiddleback Racing in the number 66. Brandon Witt ran the inaugural season for Red Horse Racing in the number 38 truck. And as you can see here, absolutely nothing happened until June, which is why they had to make this change. They moved Chad Chaffin to the number 66 truck and reunited Todd Bodine with the Germain Racing folks that he ran so good with the previous season. But that wasn't the only move that happened here, as the 66 was actually bought out by Weiler Racing and turned into the number 60 car. Chaffin went along for the ride, but he would not finish the season there. We'll talk about that a little bit later. And what do you know, the next week, Todd Bodine returned to victory lane with Germain Racing in just his 2nd start. David Rittiman finished 3rd, Mike Skinner 4th, and Bill Lester with a top 5 to have an impressive showing for Toyota with 4 to 5 trucks in the top 5. 2 weeks later at Memphis, Brandon Witt won the inaugural race for Red Horse Racing, beating out runner-up David Rittiman, also in a Toyota. 2 weeks later, to start August, it was David Rudiman's turn as he won race 16 at Nashville. Todd Bodine and Mike Skinner both grabbed top 5s for Toyota. The next week at Bristol saw Mike Skinner win his first race for Toyota, beating runner-up Todd Bodine. Johnny Benson was also in the top 5. And to start September, Skinner would go back-to-back, winning at Richmond and making it 3 in a row for Toyota. Todd Bodine once again finished in the runner-up position, and Mike Wallace finished 12th. That was his best finish of 5 starts after taking over the number 12 truck from Huffman. Race 20 at Las Vegas saw Todd Bodine return to victory lane. There was no one else notable for Toyota who finished in the top 5. So to follow up on the Chad Chaffin story, he actually ended up getting booted from Weiler Racing before round 21 at Martinsville, and Jack Sprague took over the ride for the remainder of the season. And November was a busy month for Todd Bodine as he went 3 in a row in November, winning the final 3 races of the season to put Toyota out on top. So how did things look at the end of the season? Well, Todd Bodine finished 3rd in points, but he was 14th in points after race 10 in the number 66 truck. He climbed from 14th to 3rd in the final 15 races. You gotta wonder what would have happened if he ran the full season with Germain. He had 5 wins to go along with 12 top 5s and 15 top 10s. Mike Skinner finished in the top 5 in points with his 2 wins and 13 top 10s, but more impressively was 7 poles. This guy was always qualifying up front. He should have been front row Mike. Johnny Benson finished top 10 in points with 6 top 5s and 10 top 10s. David Rudiman won a race, 2 poles to go with 9 top 10s. That was 13th in points. Bill Lester finished 17th in points with 2 poles. Brendan Witt, of course, winning a race, finishing 18th in points. He also had 2 poles. Chad Chaffin finished 26th in points. Of course, he only ran 21 races. And Huffman finished 30th in points, only making 14 of 25 starts. So would Toyota be able to build off the success they had to end 2005 and 2006, or would they have another slow start to the season like they did after 2004? Well, things got interesting for Toyota right away because in January they announced they were going to be running in the NASCAR Cup and the Busch Series starting in 2007. So are they going to be spreading resources now? Are they going to be focusing more on the Cup Series, or are they still going to put in a big effort in the Truck Series? There were once again 8 full-time Toyota trucks running for points. Mike Skinner, Bill Lester, and Johnny Benson all returning to Bill Davis Racing, but Germain Racing was running 2 cars this season. They brought in defending champion Ted Musgrave to drive the number 9, and of course they kept Todd Bodine in the 30 for the full season this time. Jack Sprague ran the number 60 truck, David Rudiman once again at Dale Waltrip Motorsports in the 17, and Red Horse Racing brought in David Starr in the number 11 truck. Now, it didn't take long for things to get clicking in 2006 as Todd Bodine won the 3rd race at Atlanta. Toyota once again putting 4 trucks in the top 5 with Johnny Benson finishing 3rd, Ted Musgrave 4th, and David Rudiman coming home in 5th. The following week, David Starr would win the 2nd race for Red Horse Racing in their 1st in the number 11 truck, and Ted Musgrave finished 3rd. And the next week, it was Todd Bodine again. So Toyota goes 3 in a row, winning races 3, 4, and 5. And for the first time, Toyota had a full top 5. Bodine winning, Ted Musgrave finished 2nd, David Rudiman in 3rd, Jack Sprague finished 4th, and Johnny Benson finished top 5 for a full Toyota top 5. Things kept clicking for Todd Bodine in the 30 team as they won round 9 at Texas. Mike Skinner finished in 2nd. David Rudiman in 4th, and Johnny Benson in 5th. How did the rest of June go? Well, Johnny Benson went back-to-back at Michigan and Milwaukee, making it the 2nd time this season that Toyota had won 3 races in a row. A few weeks later, Jack Sprague won his first race for Toyota at Memphis. It was also the first win for Weiler Racing. Two weeks later at Nashville, Jack Sprague finished runner-up, this time to Johnny Benson, who won his 3rd race of the season. Ted Musgrave came home in 4th position. 2 weeks later, it was Johnny in the fast black truck, winning again at New Hampshire. Once again, Toyota putting 4 out of 5 trucks in the top 5, with Mike Skinner in 2nd, Todd Bodine in 4th, and David Starr finishing 5th. The next week at Las Vegas, Mike Skinner grabbed his first win of the season, beating Ted Musgrave and Johnny Benson finishing 4th. In October, Jack Sprague won his second race of the season, beating David Starr, Johnny Benson also grabbing a top 5 finish at Martinsville. And with 2 races to go in the season, Johnny Benson wanted one more. He won at Phoenix, Mike Skinner finished 3rd, and Todd Bodine came home in 4th. So how did these guys do in points this year? Well, it was absolutely dominant. Toyota finished 1 through 6 in the points, top 6 in points. Todd Bodine won the championship with 3 wins to go along with 12 top 5s and 16 top 10s. Johnny Benson won a few more races at 5. He had an extra top 5 and an extra top 10 to go along with 1 pole. David Rudiman with an impressive 3rd position in points. He had 7 top 5s and 19 top 10s to go with 2 poles, so very consistent in the top 10 for Rudiman. David Starr finished 4th for Red Horse Racing, winning of course 1 race. Jack Sprague rounded out the top 5 with his 2 wins to go along with 10 top 5s and 14 top 10s. And Ted Musgrave finished the 1 through 6 chain, finishing 6th for Germain Racing. He also had 10 top 5s to go along with 13 top 10s. Mike Skinner also grabbed a top 10 points finish, finishing 10th. He had 1 win and 8 top 5s. Once again, 8 poles for Skinner, so he was always qualifying up front. And then the final Toyota, Bill Lester, finished 20th in points. He had 1 DNQ. That was really the only stat that I could mention here. So in the 3 years that Toyota was only a truck team, they ran 75 races, winning 23 of them. That was about 31% of all the races. They also sat on the pole for 32 of those 75, which is a 43% rate. Looking at the win table of Toyotas here, we have Todd Bodine, who won 10 races over those 3 years. Johnny Benson, all 5 of his wins coming in 2006. Mike Skinner had 3 wins. Of course, Travis Kvapil, who won the first race, he had 2. Jack Sprague won twice. David Rudiman, Brandon Witt, and David Starr all winning 1 race apiece. So 2006 was their best year by far in the trucks, but would they be able to replicate this as they moved on to the Nextel Cup and Busch Series? Well, that's a topic for another day. Maybe I'll make a video about it and talk about what happened to the guys who ran these Truck Series seasons, and then going into how Toyota ran once they moved to the Nextel Cup Series, so leave a comment if you would like to see that. Thank you so much for watching, and hopefully we get a Dodge return here in the next few years.